Well, the low is pulling away, and we are now dealing with the cold weather. And a couple of things that we've got to talk about here, especially the freeze warning. I could see a good amount of clouds over us. We did have rain lingering for till the afternoon today. It lingered around for a lot longer than it was supposed to be out of here by like the late morning, but it hung around for a while. And um, Look at Ventus. I'll show you the radar right now. Don't have any more precipitation on the radar, but if we go back earlier, you can see we had some rain still over the area even in the afternoon after 3 o'clock. So it really took a while to get that rain out of here. It really took a while. This low is not in any hurry to move along, as you see here on the satellite. Um, Going out a little further, you see there's that low. Here comes and you can see that big low there, that moisture feed, and the cold air that is swept all the way down to Florida. And if you look at the map here, you'll see we've got frost and freeze warnings all the way down to the Gulf Coast, and it's quite chilly in Atlanta. It's 34 degrees. It's actually colder there than it is here right now, where it's down to 39 at Islip, but quite a drop in temperature. And there's that freeze warning that's going to be in effect from 1 a.m. to 9 a.m. for Tuesday, as temperatures drop below freezing, and we have a hard freeze over our area. Let's take a look at how much rainfall has fallen over the past day or so. I guess we'll do 24-hour rainfall, I guess. And you'll see we got a little more rain here last night. Some areas got up to a quarter of an inch. A little more in some of these areas here, 0.36. So around a quarter of an inch. Some areas got another half an inch of rain. Let's see how the Jersey Shore did. Around a quarter of an inch to a half an inch of additional rainfall from the actual next wave of rain that came in overnight. And there was some heavy rain, even some thunderstorms on the Jersey Shore. So let's take a look at Islip. We'll show you how the big difference in the temperature and the dew point as things have dropped off quite a bit here. So you could see earlier on, we were in the 50s, where it was mild. Didn't really start cooling off until after 5 o'clock when the wind started switching around to the northwest. The dew point started dropping and down through the 30s, now into the 20s. And you can see plenty of clouds around. There were some breaks at times today. I mean, we did have some breaks. There was a nice break here in the evening. I took this picture in Wansaw, but then the clouds kind of came right back in again. So it was a very short-lived break in the clouds. We got that freeze warning in effect, and we got cold weather coming, and also winds. We've got a small craft and advisory and gale warning. That's until 6 a.m. Tuesday. Gale warning is going to be in effect from 6 a.m. to Tuesday to 6 a.m. Wednesday. For these winds that are going to be picking up. Right now, we got gusts into the 20 to 30 mile an hour range. That is going to get worse as we head into tomorrow. Let's go ahead and look at our weather model, and you'll see the reason for that. Obviously, we've got that high that's went straight down to the south. We're stuck in between the high and the low with the pressure gradient. Just put this on the European here, but it's the same idea. We got that pressure gradient there. And there's actually going to be some ocean effect shower activity for tomorrow. And you can see, look at how tight those isobars get. Don't understand why a wind advisory hasn't been issued, but I'm going to recommend one for tomorrow. And it's going to feel cold with that. It's going to feel like below freezing. And then as we head into Wednesday, still dealing with the breeze. And you can see where kind of the high is all the way down over Florida. We're in the cyclonic flow, so we're going to still be dealing with clouds, and that's going to be an issue for much of the week. Here we are Thursday, still dealing with the clouds, and then maybe Friday we start seeing a little less in the way of clouds, hopefully. But we're going to be dealing with clouds, obviously, with this pressure gradient that we have, and also lake effect remnants as well. Let's look at the European here. We're going to keep this on the European, show you the wind issues that we're going to be having through tomorrow. So you can see the winds pick up, especially offshore, for tomorrow. And it's going to be quite windy, especially in the afternoon tomorrow. And that's why I think that wind advisory would be needed. We're going to actually show you the European first before I go into the other model here. So you can see again those dew points drop. Northwest winds, west to northwest winds. Still, you can see all the bars on these here. So you have a lot of. That means you're going to have a lot of wind, and that means no radiation, no cooling. And even Wednesday turns a little more of a west-southwesterly breeze, but mostly a westerly wind, northwesterly wind. Maybe it gets a little lighter as we head toward Thursday and Friday. But that wind is still going to be going quite a bit. And if we look at the European here with our temperatures tonight, we're going to drop into the 30s and below freezing probably by morning, right around 30 degrees probably. And then for tomorrow, we're going to struggle to reach the low to mid-40s. That's it. That's all we're going to get to. And then tomorrow night, maybe not quite as cold as tonight. Temperatures will probably be, figure, in the mid-30s for lows. No radiational cooling, though, with that wind. And then you see, again, you start seeing a little bit of a recovery for Wednesday and on Thursday. A little bit, but still remaining mostly below normal for much of this week. Obviously, here we are Saturday, and you can see that there's a boundary here. Looks like a warm frontal boundary here for Saturday, which hopefully doesn't mean precipitation for us. No, it does not show any precipitation, but it could mean clouds. So let's go to the HRRR next. And go to the HRRR here, and we'll look at the HRRR. And again, you see how tight those isobars are. And yeah, there could actually be a snow or a rain shower, most likely a flurry perhaps. Our first flakes possible, especially over Long Island. It's showing that. Again, this is all because of a lake effect feeder band that's going all the way out into the ocean here over Long Island. You see that right there. So that is definitely, there could be some flakes in the air tomorrow that subsides by the evening. And then here we are Wednesday, and not seeing as much of that activity on Wednesday, but tomorrow is definitely blustery and plenty of clouds around. Even if I point this over Jersey, you can see plenty of clouds. And then it tends to get better as we get toward the evening here. Put this over toward the evening, and yeah, it tends to get a little bit better as we get toward the evening with the cloud cover. It tends to fade away a little bit. Now we'll go look at our dew points and wind flow on this. So here's the dew points and wind flow on this, and you see here there's the northwest winds. You can see the dew points. It's actually lower to the south. Again, that's because that's where the core of the dry air went. And of course, I put this over here. Yeah, it'll be nice and clear if you're in Virginia. So that's where the dry air is going. Unfortunately, we're not getting into that. So we're in the cyclonic flow, dealing with more clouds, and a lot of wind, obviously. And then here we are Wednesday. We start to see the dew points come up a little bit as the air mass moderates. So it's really only almost like 24 hours of the cold, and then it's gone. So it's very transient, though it will stay below normal. But the coldest part of it will be with us for a short amount of time. And you can see again, temperatures drop below freezing in the morning, probably around 30 degrees, and then tomorrow we struggle to get into the 40s tomorrow on Long Island, especially because there'll be more cloud cover. Might not even make it much above 40 here. If you're in Jersey, maybe you have a better chance of getting up to maybe the mid 40s, a little more sun, and then you see tomorrow night not nearly as cold, and then here we are for Wednesday, and you see that the temperatures do moderate a little bit as we get toward Wednesday. So we will see that moderation in the temperatures probably to the low 50 to around 50 degrees for Wednesday. Still below normal though. So if we look at the statistics for today, the climate statistics at iSlip, you'll see that the normal high is supposed to be around 55 degrees. So we're still going to be below that for much of the week. We looked at all that. I guess we'll go ahead and look at skies. Obviously, we can, again, look at these soundings, and you'll see, unfortunately, we're going to have plenty of clouds around. You can see that. And it doesn't really get better until the evening. There may be a solar storm tomorrow night, so maybe there's a chance of an aurora. It's still showing a lot of clouds. This is around 3Z, so still showing a lot of clouds around. Still going to be clouds, unfortunately. So let's go to the yard, Jim, and we'll look at the different cloud models that we have to look at here. So here's tomorrow, and you see what happens tomorrow. We start off sunny, but then lots of clouds build by late morning. Plenty of clouds, especially over Long Island. Maybe less if you're in southern New Jersey, but I don't think it's going to be clear. Though it would be less, I guess maybe less if you're in southern New Jersey. And then, again, you see the clouds over Long Island, and they finally start fading away by the evening. But then these higher level clouds come in to start Wednesday. And then, maybe they'll clear up a little bit later on. And then here we are Thursday, still kind of dealing with these higher level clouds, though it looks a little more encouraging as far as sunshine. But again, still showing more cloudiness, a lot over Long Island, maybe less over New Jersey. Or it'll be clearer there, perhaps. Again, that's one cloud model we can look at. NAM we have as well. So this is the NAM cloud model. And again, you see tomorrow, plenty of clouds right in the middle of the day, and then it's hanging around pretty much these clouds. It's just no, and then it's even showing some higher clouds for the evening. So, and then Wednesday, again, showing plenty of clouds around. So it's frustrating because, again, if we were over Virginia, it would probably be mostly clear, probably, or further to the south. But again, we're in this cyclonic flow. FV3, we'll go ahead and look at all of these. Why not? Here's the FV3 again, showing a lot of clouds. And then Wednesday, also showing clouds. So, and then you have the regular GFS, which is the lower resolution GFS. You see the deal that we got going on here, pretty much. So, maybe, like I said, maybe by the end of the week it gets better. But anyway, let's look at the NAM. And I don't want to just look at the NAM again for precipitation, because then we have the chance of these flurries for tomorrow. Let's take a look at that chance again. NAM not quite as bullish on it. The HRRR seems, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see some snow flurries tomorrow. Now we'll shift over to the wind situation, because we're going to have some strong wind gusts as we head into tomorrow. And here we are in the morning. Nothing too crazy, but I think as we get toward the afternoon, it definitely starts getting worse. You start seeing gusts close to 40, and then as we head later into the afternoon, like 4 o'clock, yeah, still seeing it's just below the wind advisory criteria. So, but I think that maybe eastern Long Island's probably could meet a wind advisory criteria here. I see some wind gusts in the 40 to 50 mile an hour range here on this particular model. And you can see even as we head into later in the evening, the wind is still going. So no radiational cooling for tomorrow night, or tonight for that matter. Let's go to windy.com. So here we are at windy.com, and we'll go ahead and look at the winds for tomorrow on this one, because this one's a little more impressive. Yes, the European is a lot worse. It's just showing if the European was right, you would need a wind advisory. I would play it safe and have recommend the wind advisory for tomorrow. These wind gusts there, I see some wind gusts in the 40 to 50 range over the Jersey Shore, and then it kind of just gets worse as we get toward the afternoon here at 3 p.m. Wind gusts in the 40 to 50 range. Jersey's showing gusts of 50 at Toms River, so I think we're going to need that wind advisory tomorrow. I would recommend it. And then here we are, still showing those higher winds even at 6 p.m. And then as we get toward later, you can see the winds kind of start dropping off. Still a breezy, but not as much. And then Wednesday we won't have the winds quite as much. So it's really going to be tomorrow. And of course, you're going to have that wind chill. So when you're working with temperatures that are only around in the low 40s, it's going to feel like it's a lot colder. I don't think this does wind chill. I don't think any of these models do wind chill, unfortunately. I'm going to look and see if they do, but yeah, I don't see a wind chill feature here. Maybe I'm missing it, but I don't see it. But I'm sure it's going to feel like it's below freezing with that wind. So make sure you bundle up out there. So I think that's going to wrap things up. Then tomorrow is going to be the worst of it as far as the blusteriness is concerned. And then we see some moderation. But as far as a clear day, That's going to be hard. I think you're better off maybe at night to see the stars at this point because we have all these clouds. Again, if we go over here, this is the clouds on the European. You can see all these clouds that we got to deal with. Again, it does show it a little thinner if you're over southern New Jersey, a little less in the way of clouds. Then as we get toward the evening, it tends to thin out a little more. But then the high clouds come in as we get into later Wednesday, and then we're dealing with them on Wednesday. You can see plenty of clouds around again. And then Thursday, still showing some clouds around. So this is going to be an issue all week with the cyclonic flow that we're in. So anyway, have a good night. And I'm not sure if I'm going to have a video for you tomorrow night. Depends on how bad the winds are. If the winds do get bad, if we see those wind gusts, I'll probably have to make another video because we're going to definitely want to go over them. Anyway, good night.